Call this October 20th Jackson County Commission work session to order. Have our roll call.
District 1, Mr. Dudley. Present. District 2, Mr. Dunbar. District 3, Mr. Miller. Present. District 4, Mr. Wade.
Quorum is present. Have our invocation by Mr. Porter and our pledge by Mr. Ledley.
Our God, our Father in heaven, we are blessed for this time of year, change in season. It's always refreshing to see when the seasons change. We thank you for that. God, we thank you for the men that are gathered here and their families, for their willingness to serve us in Jackson County and the citizens. We pray you'll be with them and guide them and direct them. God, there are many people that are hurting tonight. We have problems with disease in the United States, and we pray that that problem will be solved and there'll be no further loss of life or no problems with that. We pray that you'll be with those that are in military services, that are in harm's way right now. We know they're doing the best that they can. We pray that you'll keep them safe, be with their families, and comfort them while they're gone. We pray that they'll accomplish the mission successfully and restore peace and harmony to that region. We pray all these things in your Son's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is approval of the agenda. We have 4 items on the agenda. Are there any changes before we proceed? Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Have no one sign up to speak tonight, so we'll go right into our discussion items. The first item is a roll-off containers. The reason this is brought back up, we discussed it before, and it looked like there were some other entities in the county that were getting into business in the county, but since our last discussion, it appears that there is no one else that serves in the county that's able to serve the needs of the citizens. We continue to have calls on this issue. So I think Mr. Widener has some information he wants to share with us regarding this, and then determine how we want to move forward.
I believe all y'all have received a copy of the NJPA award. I don't think I give Mr. Porter one. Mr. Porter, do you have one? This is a national purchasing contract that we've used in the past to purchase such items as our mowing tractors and stuff like that. And Mr. Porter believes I've been involved with that. We're able to buy off this contract, but it's always still a vendor, a local vendor or somebody close. Like with the tractors, we bought from Tri-Green right here in Scottsboro. Of course, there's nobody in Scottsboro that sells this type of stuff, so the same company that we purchase our garbage trucks from are members of this NJPA, and we're able to purchase off of this through that vendor. We had added, we've got on this price, it includes of course, a truck, roll-off truck with a Mack body, Mack chassis. One thing we haven't been able to pin down just yet, we can the Mack part of it, we can go with a Freightliner, maybe reduce this cost of about $8,000 to $10,000, but y'all are well aware of how good the Max does if we ever get ready to resell. So, in my opinion, it's probably not worth the reduction in cost because of the value later on if we do get ready to sell it. This includes the truck. It includes 10 30-yard roll-off containers, 10 20-yard roll-off containers. And the truck is automatic with Allison transmission. It's got all your warranties there that you can see. Also, I call your attention to the skid-mounted loader that we talked about that we want to use for debris pickup in the event of emergency, tornado, something like that the Public Works Department can use. The price of that is about $67,000, y'all see in the thing. But total package, everything with 10 dumpsters, 10 20 yards and 10 30 yards, and the truck and the roll-off, the skid-mounted loader and everything is, as y'all see at the bottom's $316,878. I think this, if y'all recall, I think all of y'all already have these. This is the unit that we're actually purchasing. I don't know if any of y'all would be purchasing through this bid. Anybody need a copy of this?
What is let's see. Oh, okay. Questions or comments on this?
I'd like to say, our request for roll-offs, we talked about a few months ago, as the chairman was talking about, we were getting covered up with requests for roll-offs, but everybody's kind of knows now that we're not in the business, so, our calls has not been as much. I think the courthouse has been getting some just recently. So, it might take a little bit to get everybody to get the word out if we decide to go this route, but, I got Laurel here, he feels like, it'd be a good thing, and I do too, that, it'd be a revenue producer for the solid waste department. After, it might take a while to get into the black, but, we foresee it being a good opportunity.
Questions or comments? Ideas on how we want to proceed?
Chairman, I make a motion to put it on the meeting coming up Monday. And I suggest that we use our line of credit until we figure out a way to pay for this.
So if there's no objection, we'll place this on the agenda next Monday night. And I think that'd probably be the best way we can look in the future. I think that line of credit is open. We could roll it over, but maybe by the end of this year, if nothing else, we'll have a determination on whether we want to pull that from solid waste funds or 116 funds.
Let me add one more thing. I just thought of, there's also another purchasing group that comes out of Houston, Texas, and we've got a company, I think Darrell talked with Jason today. This company is based out of Chattanooga. He's been unable to get some prices off of that thing, so, this is the most it'd be. This one might come in less, it might be more, but we'll have all that, present to y'all. I'll try, when we get it, I'll try to get y'all sometime this week, so you'll have time to be considered. And Darrell's been on the phone with him today, he just couldn't get all the information together.
Mr. Widener, will you verify if we do buy some 40-yard containers down the road, that this unit will be able to pick up this 12,000 pounds? That's a pretty good size difference.
Now, this unit's got a very large pickup on it. He was talking about, what it would pick up. It would be no trouble. We will verify that. Now, we'll add too, Darrell, if it's correct, it's got the, what they call the, we're gonna have to put the, what they call a high-end tarp?
Yeah, the high-end tarp on it, yes.
It's called a high-end tarp, which is a real good tarp. It goes up high and it don't tire as you drag it back over it. It goes high and then it goes down. And you have to have that for, to keep from tearing it, and it also.
Is that included?
Yeah.
In this cost?
Yeah, it's all on there. Yeah. Everything's on there. And I know there's been some discussion, the 10, 20-yard dumpsters and the 10, 30-yard dumpsters, that's just kind of just a figure we kind of throwed out, come up with to check prices. But, I think we need, before next week, we need to maybe look at either reducing some of these and buying some 10 yards or buying some 10 yards in addition to these. And, because from looking, we feel like there'd be some residential use for that. If y'all will, we can, I'll talk with each of y'all individually during the week sometime and we'll see what we're at on that.
Any other questions or comments? All right, it's been requested to place on next week's meeting agenda, so we will place that on the agenda. The next item regarding board appointments, we have two boards for appointment, the Alabama Mountain Lakes Tourism Association Board and the Marshall Jackson County Mental Health Board, or Mental Health Authority. And I think there's a recommendation from the Mental Health Authority as far as an appointment, and we've had one individual, several names presented to us, and one individual has requested to sit on the Alabama Mountain Lakes Tourism Association Board. So this is for your review, and I'd like to place this on the agenda next Monday night to move forward. Any questions or comments on that?
Have we kind of announced these openings?
We announced the Tourism Association Board sometime back, as well as the Mental Health Board was actually, I think she came off that board, and the board was just requesting to fill that appointment for the remainder of that term. Any questions or comments? If there's no objection, we'll place that on the agenda for next Monday. Next item regarding the temporary hiring contract for the Council on Aging. We approved the contract previously, and what you have before you is a cost analysis of what this is going to cost the program. Essentially, if you'll look on the first total line there, you see what was received this year for the 14 year, what we anticipate for the 15 year, and you'll notice the number of hours is much less. It's very possible that we'll exceed last year's, but we're being conservative in our numbers. And then also on the 2015 year for your Alabama Cares program. So the total of the revenues from those two programs at those conservative hours is $158,000. Then you see on to the right the numbers that we expect if we move forward with this contract. The rate that we will be paying, what's the name of the company? Job seekers. The rate is the employees pay plus 40% of that pay, and that's the rate that you see there, and then the total what that will cost us. So altogether, we'll have a difference of nearly $33,000. That $33,000 will be used to continue to pay for mileage, as well as 2 employees were there. All in all, the program will pay for itself. There'll still be a few extra dollars at the end of the year, and that's at conservative rates. If we're able to see more hours included, obviously we'll see more savings or more dollars coming into that program in the future. So I think it's a very positive thing that we're doing, and like I said, the contract was approved. I wanted to give everybody this cost breakdown so they can see or have any questions, hopefully we can answer any questions that they have about it. So questions or comments on this? If you do have any questions or comments, we're hoping to move forward with this next week. So if you have any questions or comments as you look through this week, please let us know, and answer those for you. And I have a more detailed breakdown. This is kind of a simpler breakdown, but I have more detailed breakdown if anyone would like to see that. Okay, next item regarding the marina rates at Jackson County Park. This was discussed last week. A couple of updates on some of the different items that we talked about. The pest issue, I think we do have a meeting this week to discuss the issue with the pest that was brought up last week. And then, of course, we mentioned that we are working on a master plan at the park, which will hopefully provide for a few more amenities for the boaters out there. And with that, I think that the only other concern was moving was a 1 month free with a purchase in advance, a year purchase in advance. I think that was one topic that was up for discussion. So there are questions, comments, recommendations on how we need to move forward with this process? Mr. Barnes?
Right now, they don't have to sign a contract, a lease contract, you know what I'm saying, for 6 months, year, whatever. I don't know if we give them a year free, that we need to have them sign a contract for, you know, a year.
We would, I think the way that works at Goose Pond is they pay in advance. So
Right.
if they paid in advance,
Right.
would we need any type of contract for that, Mr. Porter? Just receive payment in advance from.
You need something where they don't want to be reimbursed, you know, if they leave after 6 months.
Right, I
You
mean,
need
you know, if we're gonna give them that free, I think we ought at least have a contract, you know, you're gonna keep it here for a year. You know, and they'll be locked into it. You know, I don't foresee a lot of people paying about a year, but, you know, I think that's, if we're gonna give an incentive, then we ought to get one.
You can just make it non-refundable in your contract that you've already got, just make it non-refundable if they're gonna pay.
Just add to the contract we have.
Yeah, just, yeah. The agreement that they already signed,
Okay, so it would have to be added into that
yeah,
contract.
add it into the contract to make it non-refundable,
Okay,
if they pay by the
you
year.
have to pay by the year.
Any other questions or comments? Is that a provision we want to move forward with then, as we move forward with this price increase, or? Is that something for further discussion
I say we move forward.
with both?
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments? Have anything else to add? I think, we've tried to address a lot of the issues, and a lot of them will come with time as we work through some of those.
Yeah, I think if we get that master plan going, and like I said, you've got a meeting with the pest control people this week, so, maybe we can get something worked out there. But I think in the long run, we will have to do something on ADOT, the electrical part of it, so, down the future, we've got to do something down there.
Okay. All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, if there's no objection, then if we're prepared, we'll place this on the agenda for next Monday night, and move forward with that. That concludes the items on our agenda, so we'll move on to our reports. Mr. Manning?
Just I placed the, three or four of the contracts. It's coming up for renewal. They are in our budgets and everything. I just put the copies in the mail slot for y'all to review. But, all those are budgeted, so just want to let you know. Those are in your mail slot. That's all.
We will need to place that on the agenda next Monday also. Mr. Wyver?
You want to mention the annex too?
Yes, sure, yes, very good, thank you.
Public Works is going to begin demolishing the annex building tomorrow. And we've been over there today trying to get things ready. And our intent is to start tomorrow. We're getting everything. We've done got our equipment mobilized, and hopefully we'll get started tomorrow sometime on up in the morning.
Sir? That's it. Mr. Robinson, you have anything? Mr. Barnes? Mr. Porter? Mr. Moon? Mr. Guthrie? No, sir. Mr. Levin?
No, sir.
All right, that concludes the items on our agenda. I think that's all I have to see, so we will entertain a motion to adjourn.